again, very rebellious and dressed up. Um, I love that film lighting. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Should probably do a photo shot with that. Um, so today I wanted to talk about that Mars-Uranus North Node great conjunction. I know I've mentioned it before, but I kind of woke up and it's a Mars day, so Mars wisdom on a Mars day. As we know, Mars is in Taurus, so Mars is in Venus sign, and that conjunction. Uh, and when I was thinking about the Mars Uranus, I was thinking about two bandits, because that energy, that electric energy of Uranus, and that almost impulsive energy of Mars. Even though Mars is in Taurus, it might not be that comfy there. Oh, the sun. What do I do about the sun? So I was thinking, this is such a bandit energy, um, and it can be in a good way. While we all know that, you know, stuff we were talking about, like red riots, or even all the kind of bandit activities that we think about around resources, around our food, around nourishment, but also around Venus things like sensuality and sex. And that while people might, oh my gosh, that could be like violence against women, not necessarily so, because they are working with the North Node. So they're bringing up something that is in favor of what is to be. And again, the North Node ruled by Venus, it kind of tells us that there's something new about the way we're going to celebrate Taurian things. There's something new about the way we're going to get food. There's something new about the way we're going to meet our central needs. And we also need to pay attention that Venus right now is still in Cancer. She's not in any way uncomfy in Cancer. And great conjunction sextiles Venus. So if we were worrying about the state of Venus, so if we were thinking, oh, this could actually bring, violence against, Venusian figures or women or something like that, not at all. Not at all. It's sextiling Venus, and Venus is in Cancer right now. So whatever these bandits do, these Mars-Uranus bandits do, it's going to be in favor of what is to be in regarding to Venusian things. And I know I said this before, but still I kind of woke up with this energy, immediately looking at at the Mars-Uranus, and I'm like, oh. So I was wondering, it's actually not a long video, I was just wondering, what do you guys and girls have to tell me about that Mars-Uranus conjunction? Where is Taurus in your own chart? Because those can be really cute stories, and we, like I said, I'm in the blue astrologer, so do notice that it is sextiling Venus. While Mars and Uranus can very well be, those two bandits that drag each other to do extreme things and kind of take over the world, but in an impulsive rush of, passionate stunt. That's why they're so amiable, because they'll crack the joke, they'll do the stunts, they'll do the fun things, they'll pull pranks, they'll do those things that are actually in favor of Venus. They sextile Venus, so this can be very benevolent sort of pranks. It can be a very intelligent form of impulsive action. It can be an impulsive action that is not necessarily stupid. So again, of course, it's not Jupiter that is the good instinct, but Jupiter and Mars are not have never been that but great friends. Well, Mars and Uranus kind of ignite each other. So it's people that ignite each other, and we can also think about new technologies. A solar car that is also a yacht and is also a plane. A new way to tackle digital money. Like, for example, right now you cannot recover your digital wallet if you lost your hardware or something happened to your hardware, or if you lost your passport, in most cases. So perhaps, you know, tackling those pitfalls in a very creative way can be a lead ushering us into a new way of dealing with our finances. Again, Taurus. A new way of banking. Again, Taurus. That has to do with the technological view. Also, scientific innovation in relation to Mars Venus things. So that can be, you know, even a mission to Venus or the mission to Mars. But it's a scientific innovation. It's a new technology that allows us. It doesn't necessarily happen in one day, but that can be the initiator. That could be a breakthrough regarding new technology. And new technology allows us to observe things that we weren't able to observe before. So I was hearing, I believe, Victor talking about the possibility of having a new type of astrology, because Uranus is also astrology, and people are saying frequency astrology. Why frequency? You know, voice waves, sound, Venus, the voice, um, and frequency, the waveform of something, the more air element, yeah, the waveform of something, that's Uranus. So definitely being able to observe certain frequencies or to translate certain frequencies of energy that we weren't able to observe before. It's taking me right back to my thesis preparation. That can be the future that will allow us to discuss mind reading. I've been seeing a lot of people, and I had it too. You put your cell phone somewhere and you get pictures relating to that. You put your cell phone in the kitchen, you get pictures relating to that, but that is not only so. You think about something and you open your cell phone and you can have like those screensavers that change, and then it will have a picture relating to your to what you were thinking about. And so this technology is absolutely, I personally know that they exist because I literally met with, you know, the boyfriend of one of the girls I have been befriending, and he was literally working, I think, over a decade and a half ago about technology that reads thoughts of people and can translate that, and they were having good achievements. So that was a decade and a half ago, and people don't really discuss those things. But yes, absolutely, the ability to read thoughts, to connect with thoughts, that nothing in the inside of our psyche is going to be so open. Think about the think about the Uranus Pluto conjunction, and then think about the Pluto Uranus square. Okay, Pluto, the inner, what we are hiding, what we're trying to hide from the world, the things that we may have shame about or whatnot, being read by technology or mind reading. Yeah. So this big exposure of the hidden facets of reality, that we need to prepare ourselves for, and it's kind of radical acceptance that is required from us. And again, exposure is also a Uranus theme. Why? Because Uranus is I'm spreading wide, but Uranus is basically air element. And you know, what is an explosion? Is something that is tiny, then that spreads out. Um, so it's with Uranus, it's a lot of exposure. The trine in by sign to Pluto, exposure of things, of secret things from the Capricorn, secret things of hierarchy, secret things of organizations, secret tactics or connection, making connection. Venus is about connections. So the exposure can be by making connections. You know, just like the videos I've made recently on, you know, psychic attack. It's like, oh, the connection between those groups where you go to a tantric class and learn how to have energy sex, or go to a class where you learn how to share dreams in your sleep, and, you know, the relation to how people see psychosis in psychiatry, if people fuck with that. So those connections can kind of expose secrets that happen in organizations. It can happen in all matters and forms. And when you have, when you do have already a technology that is able to observe that, it will no longer be, you know, just a bunch of people coming up with a bunch of hypotheses. It will be technology and facts and observation and, you know, graphs and simulation of those hypotheses. So there's a lot that's going to be exposed, and we all need to prepare for radical acceptance when that happens. You know, when we remember when the internet began, so there was, on the one hand, there was the WikiLeaks. On the other hand, people had to learn how to radically accept their bodies, because like literally anybody could have a camera that can take a picture of you beneath your clothes and put it somewhere. So if you are ashamed around your body, or if you find it somewhat shameful, or if you're ashamed of how you look naked, then that would be the time to radically accept your body, because it's like there's nothing shameful around that inner. There's nothing shameful around what we supposedly hide. And when we radically accept ourselves, uh, then we can get more of the higher frequencies of those things. So that is another thing, this kind of radical acceptance. Radical acceptance is also something that can be, you know, regarding your Venusian aspect or vulnerability, and regarding your martial aspects. So radical acceptance is also something that I'd connect with the sextile of Venus-Uranus. And this is often why the Venus-Uranus relations, if you go back to my video on Friday, that I download everything Venus, click the Venus-Uranus. Okay, those Venus-Uranus relations, not only that they can start now with the sextile, but again, the sextile is not a hard aspect, so you need to pay attention. This is why I'm recording these videos, because most of y'all gonna be watching, oh, Uranus, Mars, gonna be bread riots, gonna be, you know, bombing, it's gonna be, I don't know what. It sextiles Venus. But you need to pinpoint that sextile, because, you know, astrologers, let's say even Uranian astrologers, only look at the hard aspects, and they do it for a reason, because their reasoning is to prepare people for the reality. It's like a stoic approach, and I was talking about that yesterday. Okay, what are the readings that I give that are in the blue, that make you look at your chart and see the potential of what you absolutely can do to make your life better, but you have to tap into that. You have to understand that it's even there, and that's why having an astrologer looking at your chart with these eyes, it kind of pinpoint what are the goodies that you're not using right now, and how can you use those goodies to make your life a lot better. Like, even if something annoying happens, there are still a lot of things you can do to support yourself, or there's still a lot of attention that you can pay to what's working in your life. But beyond that, you know, I can tell you, pay attention every day to what's working in your life. Every day tell yourself, you know, what am I good at, what, you know, gratefulness, appreciation, that's going to be great. But the added value of having an astrologer looking at your chart is that you might not be aware of those good things. Okay, if you don't know that this current transit, this upcoming, okay, Mars is now in 14 degrees Taurus, it's going to have to go through another 4 degrees to meet Uranus. It's going to do that. If you don't know that right now we are sextiling Venus, you might not even realize that those bandits are actually in your favor. Let's say you're an older lady or you're an older woman, and you hear about these bread riots. You say, oh my God, these people. But then you receive the gift, you know, from the grocery store. You receive the gift from somebody sending food to you if you're in need. Or you receive the gift of somebody exposing the name of the offender you never had the courage to testify against. Okay? That can be another manifestation. That can be another manifestation. And it will be when people become aware. How am I going to use this energy? Am I going to set intention? And even setting intention is great with the outer planets. It's great with every planet, especially with the outer planets, because they are beyond the self. So you set intention, you get a certain frequency. How can I use this in favor of Venus? How can I use it in favor of, you know, healing my divine feminine, or my finances, or the Venus figures in my life? Can be spouses, can be daughters, can be women, can be trans women as well, because, you know, we have Uranus. Uranus is about gender, gender equity as well. It's not, you know, it's not just equity for the masses, it's also gender, or what we deem unconventional, because right now we deem certain sort of genders unconventional. So pinpointing that that sextile to Venus, and try to pay attention what happens in your life. Try to set the intention to use this energy in favor, and to take the opportunity of that sextile to Venus, because it is going to be very supportive for your well-being. Very, very supportive for your well-being and the well-being of everything Venusian around you. So interpersonal relations, our relations to our finances, all things relational is very much supported with a sudden, it can be like a sudden upheaval that is in favor. And this is also why the Venus, if you are looking for a harmonious, harmonious Venus-Mars relations, okay, harmonious Uranus-Venus relations. I was talking on Friday on Venus with Uranus. So take advantage of that Venus-Mars harmonious sextile. You can meet someone that you can actually get along with intimately or even sexually. That you feel that your sexuality together is something that harmoniously combined, and you don't have to fight and quarrel for that. But it will not be in the price of lack of excitement, because often people get excited about their differences. But here, even with Uranus Venus, it can be a very blessed connection that actually rejuvenates you, and rejuvenates your nervous system in a way that is positive. And it might not be a long lasting connection, but it can be a very positive connection, very positive intimate connections, or business connections, depending on your houses, that you can now pay attention to. Who do you meet, or even set intention to meet such people, because that can be very blessed. And that energy will work if you are Venusian. It will work in favor of your divine feminine, so it can be rejuvenating your divine feminine, having a better outlook on gender, on women, or whatnot. Or you can set out, I don't know, you set out to meet a man, and then you meet a woman, or you meet a trans person, and you're like, oh, you have this amazing affair, or you have this amazing relationship, and you're like, oh, I didn't think about sexuality in that way. I didn't think about gender in that way. And that's rejuvenating, and that works in favor of Venus, and in favor of your endocrine system, because a part of what, it's fertility, but also the fertility we use for leisure, for pleasure, and for, oxytocin, that it's the hormone of forgetting. So unlearning, so that you can learn something new and exciting for you. It can be a technological duo. You could meet the person, like a trans woman or a woman who is technologically inclined, and she has like new ideas, or she's an engineer. So if you're working on a startup, if you're working in a company, you want to create those breakthroughs. So they can be breakthroughs we get by thinking, oh, we want to change the relation between things. So instead of having a Mars thinking, you would have like a Venus thinking around that. And that new point of view kind of seals the deal on an existing innovation that you've been trying to do, that you had to release something from the Keto in Scorpio aspect, and kind of look at it from, from a Venus point of view. Also in terms of activist struggles. Okay, you may have been looking to combat something, and now it's like, oh, what do I want there to be? And then through the what do you want there to be, or through that kind of optimistic rebelliousness, you actually get the solution. Or even, I can notice it with my readings, like having a reading with someone, and then in the blue, I'm looking at all the potentials, all the things that are good, all the things that are working well, and boom, we hit on something that has been a problem that could do a lot of damage to that person, but we hit on that problem in the way that we already have the solution. And so they have the tools right now. Just because I looked at everything that works, we have the tools right now that we didn't think to tackle something that could be a cause for, breakdown of the nervous system. Like literally I had it in one of my readings where, when you think about the nervous system, you think about Uranus. It's like, oh, it's like, oh, that makes sense. We had a breakthrough as to that person's well-being, and ability to maintain the nervous system. So, wow, I have to admit that this visual is very Uranus-Mars thingy. You can see it's very changeable. Take a look at that. Okay, so Venus is also art, and art is, light, the contrast. And look at those changes of contrast and changes of light. It's like it looks very artistic. The picture moves around because I constantly try to adjust. Um, but then, yeah, it creates something very interesting. It can be something that disturbing for the eye for some people, but it can be something very artistic and very interesting in just a simple astrology video. Like I wasn't even trying. And that is another aspect of of tapping into this energy. So if you have an application like Planet Watcher or whatnot, Star Watcher, Stargazer, I don't know how it is called anymore. You can just look in the sky and point the application, just point it, use the technology, point it to the Mars Uranus. If you have the ability to see also the Venus, that's great. And you'll see that if you're energy sensitive in any way, you'll see that you're kind of tapping into this energy. And when I looked at them, I was like, oh my god, they're so cute together. Because they are. Because they are. Um, they really are so cute together. They're a couple of bandits, and when they work in favor of Venus, it's a very rejuvenating form of rebellion. It's very benevolent. It can be very benevolent form of rebellion in favor. It's sextile Venus, and Venus is in Cancer. So it can be a great union of heart and mind. It can be a great union of intellect and technology and mind. And oh my gosh, what footage am I experiencing here? I just have to do like those still shots because it's like they're just very unique plays of light and contrast that I am not not something I would expect to see, in an astrology video. Working with visuals. um, so yeah, I had to hop on and kind of rejoice in this energy. You can even watch this video and kind of use the energy because it's a very benevolent kind of stunt energy. This is morning here where I'm shooting, and the Mars Uranus is still sextiling Venus. Very good to hone into the sextile, to enjoy it, to kind of think of how you can work with this energy consciously. If you want to have a reading from me, I'm Talishir on Twitter, I'm Shirley Youngblood on Instagram. You can write me your contact details here. Reading with me is only $50, and I do have subsidized readings for people who are going through more difficult times. Um, and that is, something that's very beneficial, um, especially to look at your chart from a point of view of not trying to prepare you stoically for something terrible to happen or something even good to happen, but just trying to see where are those spots, where are those blue aspects, in the blue, where are those planets that are dignified, where are those things that are optimistic in your chart, and to be aware of them and to work with you on a set of practical tools, and also how to integrate those tools, how to change your environment, how to include them in your daily practice in a way that is accessible specifically to you, so that you can hone in and take advantage of what is actually working. And thereby, what you may find is that you can reach an unexpected solution, especially with this energy. Like if you order a reading today or in the coming days, and get a reading from me, let's say like even this Thursday, and I know that this Thursday is not, the easiest, in terms of astrology, but yes, I do say it. Even this Thursday, if you get a reading from me, it's going to be the new moon, and kind of still hone in on this energy. We can reach breakthroughs regarding to your nervous system, regarding to all things Venus, relational things if you are experiencing those. Nervous system can also be Mercury, and it can also, because of the psychological and emotional aspect, be the moon. So all those things, if you have something, or if you have, if you have Aquarius in your 12th house and you're heading to, you're having Saturn there, you're heading to Pluto being there, or Capricorn in your 12th house. Um, so any one of those things that are being triggered, or if your 12th house is being triggered right now by perfection, that can also be a reason that you would want to turn to me, not because I'm going to solve all your problems, but because I can look at what you didn't know that you have working for you, and at how easy and accessible it can be to tap into that. So I want you to have these tools, and it is a small but tiny revolution of the way you see your life, the way you see your chart, the way you see opportunities that you didn't know were even there. So let's say even if I've had clients that were like, oh, I see things sometimes like a tunnel vision, but then the minute sometimes someone says to me that you have an opportunity here, you have an opportunity there, it's very easy for me to see that. So that's lovely, but it's not about surrounding you with these people, for example, because you can have like Saturn in your 12th house, or you can have Pluto heading there, and you're like, you might experience isolation. It's also about arranging your space in a way that you begin to remind you of what those people could remind you. So a good workout would be, what would you tell a friend in this situation? People are often very good in giving advices to other people, but not to themselves. Or creating the place where you are centered in you, and it's not about your being dependent on someone external to you to keep your nervous system healthy anymore, or to keep you psychologically healthy. That actually opens the gate to more equity in relationships that can be the breakthrough for you, because you might be tending to attract people that have similar problems, and then they can either be your caregiver, but then suddenly they have a breakdown and you need to be their caregiver. In any relationship this happens to some extent, but when you have yourself and you attract people that have themselves, then you can have more equity in relations, and that can be a breakthrough in all things Venus. For example, if you're having a Venus here and you've had struggles with that, or you had abandonment issues or whatnot, so sometimes not just working on purging the abandonment issues or purging the issues is the point, but actually looking at what works, what works, reminding you of everything that works, and then you have yourself, and then A, it's easier to purge, and B, you don't have to purge so much anymore because you are actually changing things right now, in regards to all things relational, to your nervous system, to your self-care and mental well-being, not necessarily by going to a shrink or something, but by practicing simple things that you can hone into that improve upon your situation. I'm not speaking as a mental health practitioner, and I'm not even taking the hat of a holistic health practitioner that I do have, and I do take this hat on when needed. If I notice something that you need to change, in your daily life, so that it will support your well-being, I will point it out to you, and we will figure together how to do that. But I'm just, just as an astrologer, even without any further education, just looking at the blue, looking at those blue aspects, looking at those dignified planets, looking at what you have working for you, we can uncover great secrets. We can also uncover great potential to make a living, because sometimes you have something to give that you're not even aware of, and by honing in on that, you can take that. Have a great day. You can basically put that into practice and sell that service that perhaps you didn't even think you would be selling, and then you see, oh, I have that to give. Even for concrete, I like to give concrete examples, and normally I would not give on my clients, I would give on myself. So even when I was doing the trick of thinking about, okay, in all the things, the many hats that I've had in my life, what am I the best in? What do people appreciate me most for? And it's like giving them power to do something creative. And I'm like, oh, I'm that person, I'm that like cheer up person. I'm like the cheerleader of people. So it's like, oh, that's what I'm good at. Okay, and then you build your services around that. So everything you do, if I do astrology, then that's how I do astrology. If you meet me as an aromatherapist, then we would look at what is working in your life, rather than at how do we purge the problem out, because that is my tactic. That is what the way I work and the way it works for me. And this is also how I hone in on those clients that it works for them, and how I manifest my clients. For example, perhaps you. So, um, contrary to what you may hear on YouTube, that Uranus Mars North Node conjunction with the sextile to Venus right now, honing on that sextile to Venus, it's wonderful, it's magnificent, it's bringing in the new, it's it's a bandit energy that's bringing in the new, and it's in favor of Venus. And as we know, Venus is usually the one suffering from things being projected onto it, or oppression or whatnot. So all things Venus. Also, if you talk about men rights, by the way, the act of oppression is considered an act where the oppressed, even if it is a man, is seen as Venusian, is seen as the more passive, as the more placid, as the less assertive. Yes, Venus has to learn assertivity from Mars. Mars has to learn that to win is only with someone. Um, so, and and those kind of two different kind of yin yang aspects. So even if you're thinking, oh, it's going to be in favor of women but depriving men, no. Even when men are oppressed, it is because they are considered Venusian. And this has also been this way in politics, like in fascism, that the people who are not combative were seen as weak, were seen as placid, and were seen as Venusian, and therefore were oppressed. So when you see the value of yin, then you begin to heal your relations, and then you begin to choose your battles correctly. Because if you just want to oppress someone and that considered weak, or to make them Venusian, or kind of like to emasculate them, literally to emasculate them, man or woman, it's not going to get you anywhere good. So I'm very optimistic about this transit with the people who are going to hone into this sextile to Venus, and understand that this bandit activity is bringing in the new, and that new is in favor, because it is Venusian, and Venusian is usually about sensual pleasure, good food, good life, leverage in finance, and she's also ruling Libra, so diplomatic relations, having harmony. It's not a terrible thing. And on a sidereal aspect, then of course it's Aries, then it's individuality, then it's acknowledging your own rights, just because you're a human being. So humanism or womanism is also favored. I'll see you in my next video. Have a lovely, lovely day. Bye bye. Oh, tell me in your comments, how do you experience this, and how do you use this energy? And you can come back in a couple of days and kind of tell me, what did you do with this energy, and what did you experience as a result of that. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.